Hello! So first of all, as you can probably tell by what's going on behind me and my face, I did a self-tape today, so we'll see what comes of it, probably nothing, but hence why I'm all made up and very pink. Anyway, welcome to January favourites. It's insane how many favourites I have. I've had a really good month. At the start of the month, obviously we had New Year's, and then my sister came over, which was lovely, and we did loads of things that are like typical touristy London things. And then I've had a little bit of time off, which has actually been really nice, but it's meant that I've been able to read a lot and watch a lot, so lots of favourites. So we'll start off with the movies. I have one movie, and it's The Banshees of Inisherin. I hope I've said that right. I'm really sorry if I haven't. I can't say I loved it, but I liked it. I don't know. I didn't dislike it anyway. Now for TV shows, I've got 6. First of all, Wednesday. I don't know if I mentioned that in my December favourites, but I finished watching it in January. I think it was like the first few days of January. I loved it. It's funny because people always say that I remind them of Wednesday and that I could be a Wednesday. But if you look at me right now, I very much look like an Enid. Anyway, then I finished watching the 3rd season of Emily in Paris. We watched another season of Taskmaster, which I loved. We also finished watching Blockbuster, which is something. I didn't like sort of the main character, but I liked all the side characters and I liked it. It was just an easy thing to watch. Then, just last night, we finished watching The Queen's Gambit. We watched this over 3 days and I loved it. I think it was in October or November that I read the book. And I loved the book unexpectedly. So I was very excited to start watching the show, especially because I have heard really good things about it and I did really, really enjoy it. I am really glad I read the book first because I loved the book so much and I don't think I would have enjoyed the book as much if I'd watched the show first. But the show is very good as well. And then last but not least, now I need to brace myself for this. The Woman in the House Across the Street from the Girl in the Window. I've only watched, I think, 3 episodes. We started it not last night, the night before, and it's dumb. It's really stupid and it's frustrating and painful to watch. And yet I love it. Now, we have books. And I have 8 books. I'm so happy about this. First of all, After the Party, which now feels like it was so long ago that I read it, but I really enjoyed this book. It kind of just came up on my library app, and so I listened to it. And it was like a murder mystery kind of thing, which I enjoyed. Although I had guessed who it was right at the start, and I was right. And I don't know if that made it better or worse, but anyway. Then, the next 6. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire, Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince, Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows. Breathe. So yeah, I read all the Harry Potters. I think I mentioned in December that I read the first one because there was a quiz that I was doing, but then I read the first one and I remembered how much I loved Harry Potter and I decided to read all of them. And it's been so long and there was so much I forgot. First of all, a lot of it's really funny. Second of all, the 7th one is so sad. I mean, I did know that, but it's even more sad. And yeah, there's just so many details that either I'd forgotten about or that aren't in the movies. Like, it was just, I loved it. And last but not least, I read this. It's like a book of poems by A.A. Milne, who also wrote Winnie the Pooh. And I started reading it probably a year ago. And it's only 100 pages, but I just kind of never finished it. But I finished it now. It's called When We Were Very Young, and I really enjoyed it. And I have a plan to read one of the stories out loud because I really like it. And it's kind of a Winnie the Pooh story, kind of. Anyway, moving on to musicals. I got to see a couple of musicals this month, which was amazing. And they were Elf, Hex, Frozen and Matilda. And then I also got to watch a version of SpongeBob the Musical that my sister was actually a part of back in Australia, and they filmed it and she brought it with her so I could see it. Can't say it's my favourite musical ever, but it was nice to see and it was really beautifully done. And actually that is in my favourites as well for later on, because the company that put it on is a charity that puts on these musicals with people who have maybe learning disabilities or sort of any sort of disability, and they make each character have sort of a double, so everyone gets a chance to play these parts when they usually wouldn't be given that opportunity. It's so beautiful, and I think I finally found a charity that I'm ready to like commit to as the charity that I want to be part of me, because I have spent years trying to find a charity that I'm like, yes, this stands for what I believe in 100%, and this is what I want to like dedicate my money and my time and resources to. And I've really struggled to find something that I feel really kind of encaptures that, but this charity does that. And I've actually, sorry, we're going to go completely off track now. Almost a year ago, I think it was just under a year ago, I actually got a message from one of the founders saying, hey, are you in Australia? Would you be interested in helping us out with this? But I didn't really know what this was. I just knew it had something to do with musical theatre, and I was like, I wish I could, but it was just before I was going to Greece, and I was like, I'm really sorry I can't. But next time in Australia, please let me know about it, because, you know, I'm happy to help out in any way I can. And I really wish I could, because I just love what they stand for. I think it's so good what they're doing. I think it's truly amazing. Anyway, that's that. On to two music-y things. Number one, there was, which I was shocked by, after sort of the New Year's Happy New Year thing, on TV, they showed this Dutch Eurovision show that they did as like a New Year's party thing. I don't really know. So naturally, I loved that. And they had Alexander Rybak, and I was happy. They also had lots of other artists that I liked, but I love him. And also, I listened to a new musical called Kin, which I really liked, but with a question mark next to it. Now, food, I've got 4 things. Number 1 is non-alcoholic mojitos. I went to a party with an open bar, and I don't drink, and they had non-alcoholic mojitos, and I think I had about 5 or 6. They were so good. Then we went to Camden Town with my sister, which is like a marketplace in London, and there was a new shop, or at least one that I'd not seen before, called Hansel and Gretel's, and it was an ice cream shop. And first of all, the way it looked was beautiful. That's what caught my eye in the first place. We weren't going to go there. And then we saw sort of the building and I was like, wow. And then we had ice cream there. And there wasn't loads of choice, but I liked what we had. We had like a mango ice cream, I think. And you can decorate it and everything. It's really cool. Then I've written pret-a-manger. I love pret-a-manger. And I don't often have it because it is a bit expensive, but my grandmother treated the 3 of us, so I enjoyed it. And then last but not least, I've got Werther's Originals, which are like caramel sweets. Now for fashion, I've got 2 things. I've got this beautiful old watch, which is so dead, and I was meant to get it replaced because I had a replacement in Australia, so I asked my sister to bring it, but then she left it somewhere along the way, so I didn't get it replaced. And I'm still sometimes wearing it because it is very broken, but I do love it. It's like 7 years old, I think. And then the other fashiony thing is this Fitbit watch, which the strap is also broken. I've had to like sellotape it on both ends, and then this still came undone. But I've ordered a new one, so it should be arriving in the next few days. But my cousin gave me that. Now I, first of all, would never buy myself a Fitbit. And second of all, never spend money on watches. I buy the cheapest watch because usually they do last. Like I said, that one was $5 American. But anyway, this Fitbit, my cousin said she had lying around and she could see my watch and said, I want to give it to you because it's not doing anything at the moment and you need to replace your watch. So I have been wearing it and I have actually really enjoyed having something to track steps and whatever, and not that I actually care, but it's just interesting, and especially sleep. Sleep is my favorite function. But I've not worn it for the last 2 nights because this just was irreplaceable. But luckily the straps are really easy to replace with Fitbits, so I ordered a new one and it should be coming in the next day or 2. Now onto my other. I've got a lot of other actually. First of all, this diary. I am so happy about this find because I knew I wanted to get a diary for this year, but I wasn't willing to spend like 10 quid on it, which is kind of the average. And I looked online loads, I went to lots of different shops, and then I just happened to go into a WH Smith's and they had this, and it was 99p because it's a 2022 to 2023 diary, so it finishes I think in September. Now it's not the best. I don't love that it doesn't have like any sort of thing. So what I did, this was sort of tied around like that, and I just broke it off the bottom and I use it as a bookmark now. And I like the pattern on the front, like it's quite nice. Now it's already kind of going, but it does the job, and it will do the job for the next few months anyway, and then if in September I need to get a new one, I will. But it was only 99p, so I was really happy. Now, this is gonna look really dusty because it's been lying there for a bit. I had this as like a phone screen cover, and I don't know if you can tell, it's incredibly cracked. It wasn't actually this cracked before. I think it's got worse since I've taken it off. Oh, I love the way the sky reflects in that. That's cool. But first of all, this is a favorite because I've had this on my phone since I got my phone 2 years ago, and even though it does look cracked, my phone didn't have a single scratch on it. I was really worried that it would because some of them looked like they'd gone through to the actual phone, but this thing saved everything. Now I have no idea what the brand was, and like I said, it is obviously, this is cracked, but it did a good job. And then I finally bought a replacement, which I've also wanted to do for a while. And this one I think had 2-in-1, so it's Didiski, I think that's how you pronounce it. And it's currently on my phone and it's very good. I think it's quite similar to the one I had, and I'm very happy with it. Then I've got Hamleys. I think I've spoken about Hamleys before. It is a toy shop that I used to visit all the time in London, and I brought my sister there, and it's just so much fun. Okay guys, we're almost there. Next up, I've got a photographer who I'm not actually going to mention in this video, but I got new headshots done, which I am so happy with, but they're not quite finished yet. I need to still narrow it down. I've got it down to about 17 out of 1,000. But I need to get it down to 4. But he was fantastic, but I'm not going to talk about him now, but I do have a whole vlog coming up in June. I know it's really far away, but my vlogs are a bit behind. And in that vlog, I will mention him and link him below and everything, but I'm not going to do that yet, just for privacy reasons, I think. I don't really know. I just feel weird about saying it. Then I've got Stephen Fry as a voice actor. He read all the Harry Potter books that I listened to, and I just love him. He's so good. He's so good. And finally, I have now changed my phone background. I like to change my background or my things on my phone to kind of match the season. And I had a really nice one for the winter that I never spoke about, so I'm going to put a picture in over here because it was perfect, because I don't want anything too sort of Santa or Christmassy because I don't celebrate Christmas, but this one was just the perfect sort of warm, cozy theme. And now I'm back to my Winnie the Pooh theme because it feels appropriate for spring, you know? So those are my favourites for the month. This is a long video, but I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you in the next one. Oh, and I forgot my song of the month. It's Hello from Hex the Musical. I like the first bit, not the whole song, but I like the first bit. And it's been stuck in my head. It kind of goes round and round because it just goes, hi, 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 hello. It's good though. Okay,